Okay, well thank you guys. You guys seem to have been enjoying the tips and tricks videos. So considering you like watching them and I like editing them, then we might as well keep them going. Plus I got a little lighting rig set up now in the camping cave. And today we're going to talk about my luxury items. 5 of them to be exact. You guys asked for it, so here it is. So I'll give you one guess what item number 1 is. I know you all know what it is. And obviously it's whiskey. Now the reason I like bringing whiskey with me is because it kind of reminds me of being a little kid again. No it doesn't. No, what I mean by that is it reminds me of when I was growing up and I'd watch Western movies with my dad. You know, seeing those guys sat around the campfire drinking whiskey, and I used to like dream about the days when I'd be out in the woods underneath the stars sat around the campfire drinking whiskey, you know. So it's kind of just like a little nostalgic thing for me. The other thing is, I mentioned in a previous video I did recently, that I don't really drink that much. You know, I don't really drink throughout the week, and for me drinking is like an occasion. It should be a reward after something. And after a long day in the woods, when all the camp chores are done and you sat, like I say, you sat around the campfire, it's nice just to be able to have a little something, you know? Some people like beer, IPAs, whatever, you know? It's just that little way to take the edge off the day and just relax. Just take a second to yourself just to enjoy where you are and what you've been doing. Now, one thing I will say, and people ask me this all the time and comment all the time, no, I don't drink to get drunk. Rarely do I ever get drunk anyway these days, because I personally suffer from the worst hangovers in the world. Like, if you want to see a grown man sweating, shaking, crying, throwing up, that's me with a hangover. So it's not a pretty sight. I can assure you it's not a pretty sight. So yeah, I never drink to get drunk. That's not the objective. Plus it's dangerous. Don't do that. Like, you shouldn't be drinking till you pass out or till you don't know what's going on. It's just a little bit, just a moderate amount, just to enjoy, just to take a moment, like I say. So I don't need to tell you that. I shouldn't need to tell you to drink responsibly and take care of yourselves. But yeah, this is my number 1 luxury item. Nice thing of these days, with the water filters that you have, I don't need to bring water. I can get water when I'm out there, so that means I can carry this extra weight with me. Okay, so I'm probably going to do these in order of, you know, which ones I think people need to bring with them the least, you know, the least being like whiskey. So number 2 for me is a tablet, right? This is just a Amazon cheap 8-inch Fire tablet. And do I need to bring this? Absolutely not. Do I like to bring this? Yes. Now, the reason I like to bring this is because it's just that little bit bigger than my phone. So like, I'll download movies on this, I'll download books on this, and it's just a little bit easier to see. Again, it's a luxury item, so when I say a luxury item, it's something that adds weight to my pack that I don't need to bring with me. I don't have to bring it with me. And this 100% fits that bill. I know it's not very like bushcrafty or camping, but you know, it's one of those things where I'm out every week, and especially in the fall and the winter and the early spring. In the summer, this won't come with me, but you know, when it's dark at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and you have to just sit there until you're ready to go to sleep, like what, 5 hours later, 6 hours later, it's nice to have something to keep you occupied. You know, there's only so many times you can put wood on the fire, and you really shouldn't be using your cutting tools once it's dark anyway. So yeah, item number 2 for me is a tablet. Item number 3 is my little FLEXTAIL gear max pump. It's just a little air pump that I use to fill up my sleeping pads. The reason being is because A, even though it sounds ridiculous, blowing up these sleeping pads nowadays, the thicker they're getting, the more work it takes. And sometimes I feel like, especially if I've been busy all day, or if I do it when I'm hungry, I start to feel a little lightheaded. So I just like to bring this, like, if I'm not going far, if I'm not getting crazy mileage, the same goes for all of this stuff. If I'm not doing like crazy miles, I'm just doing a decent amount and I can bring extra weight with me, I'll bring this. The other reason I bring this is because I read that moisture inside your sleeping pads, A, it can create mold from when you're breathing into it, and B, that moisture from when you're breathing into it can also reduce the R value in your sleeping pad, so it'll actually make you colder whilst you're sleeping. That's why a lot of them these days have the little sacks that you put over and you can push the air into it that way to stop you breathing into it, to stop that mold and to stop it getting colder. For me, I found that this works quicker and easier than those little pump sack things, and like I say, on overnight trips, weekend trips where I'm not too concerned about crazy amounts of weight, I'd rather just bring this. Okay, number 4 on the list, I talked about this actually in one of my previous tips and tricks videos, is my light, my little lantern. Now, the reason I consider this a luxury item is because you don't need it. Like, I don't need to bring this. I always have a headlamp with me, you know, because that makes life so much easier, because you want to be able to see where you're going and what you're doing. This really is just for illuminating my camp. Like I say, I've said before, in the winter and even in the summer times, like if you're not ready to go to sleep and it's dark outside, just having this hanging underneath my tarp or inside my tent, it just helps to illuminate everything in there, and I'm not have to like be searching for this every time I want to do something or see something, you know, because sometimes I'll put this down, take it off when I get into my sleeping bag or something, put it down, and then when I wake up or I want to get up and do something, I can't find it straight away, and when it's dark, obviously you just sat there feeling around. So it's nice just to have this, and when you're ready to go to bed, you can turn it off and you know where it is. It's right above you. You just reach up, turn it on, and it's there. And like I say, this one's only cheap. This is the Black Diamond MOJI. This is the best one I've found to date for that purpose. I've had a couple variations of lanterns, and this one's the best, and it's only 20 bucks. Okay, last but not least, for me anyway, this is a new one for me. I have to admit, this is a very new one for me, and that is coffee stuff, for proper coffee, not just instant coffee. I have, my whole camping career to date, have just always brought like Taster's Choice instant coffee, and my wife's aunt Michelle got me this for my birthday, this little pour over coffee filter that you saw, and I used that for the first time not so long ago. Actually, it was only in January I used this for the first time, and I was so shocked when that coffee touched my lips. I was just prepared for that like instant coffee Taster's Choice taste, that like almost bitterness, and I was like taken aback when I tasted like actual real coffee in my camping cup. So yeah, stuff for making coffee. This obviously is great. It's just a little pour over coffee filter thing. You've seen me use it, like I say, recently. The same goes for this. Now, the Helicon Tex French press. You know, that's able to make more coffee than this. This is, I would consider this like, you know, depending on the type of trip I was doing, this I can actually probably bring on backpacking trips. It is made of metal, so it's a little heavier. This one obviously takes up more space in the pack, and it, again, you could just go with instant coffee and you don't need it, but I like it. It makes a nice, you know, for making good coffee when I'm out there. Plus, this is great to have if there's more than yourself. You know, if there's 2 of you and you're out there and you want to make a good cup of coffee in the morning, just use this. And I also found the nice thing with this when I was out is you just fill it up, and I've got 2 cups of coffee in here for myself. So especially when I'm tired, I've been sleeping out in the woods, I just use this, 2 cups of coffee in the morning, I'm good to go. Now this also is a part of, I feel like this is a part of the coffee stuff, and I should include it. Obviously this is my 750ml pot, my standard titanium pot, and then inside there I have a 450ml cup, titanium cup. Now this really isn't, again, this is a luxury item. It weighs absolutely nothing, but I don't need to bring it. I could easily just drink out of this. I could pour my coffee in here, pour it back in here, and drink out of that, no problem. But I've also found that a lot of times if I cook in my pot, I find I burn stuff to the sides. I get just food stuff in there, and then the next day I get that in my coffee. And I don't know, I just like having an extra little cup that's smaller to drink out of. Again, it's a luxury item. It's something I don't need, and it's something that I wouldn't bring if I was really trying to save weight, but I do. So there. Item number 5 is my coffee stuff. And I mean, there's other luxury items that I bring with me from time to time. You know, you see me recently with this hot water bottle. Do I need it? No. Is it nice to have it? Absolutely. So that's a luxury item. The kettle I bring with me sometimes. Again, is that a luxury item to me? Yes, it is. You know, it's bigger, it's heavier. A lot of times I have to clip it to the outside of my bag because it takes so much space inside. But the nice thing is I can boil 1.6 litres of water in here compared to 750 mil. So when I'm out there, 2 of these, you know, you're at 3 litres of water for the day, which is about where you want to be. So yeah, I mean, with camping stuff, to me, it's all relative. It's all subjective, right? It's one of those things, like, if you want to go ultralight, you know, these are extreme luxuries. If you're more thinking about going car camping and things like that, these probably aren't luxuries and are just things that you're going to bring with you anyway. And like I say, to me, it's all relative. Like, you know, you imagine the Mountain, that guy from Game of Thrones who's like 7 feet tall and is the world's strongest man. He can carry way more weight than I can. Just like I can probably carry more weight than someone that's 5 foot tall and weighs 120 pounds. It's just one of those things where it's all depending on who you are and what you want to be doing. But for me, like, these are typically the 5 items that I bring that I consider luxury items almost every week. Like the types of trips I go on where you see me, I'm not doing like crazy mileage, but I'm going just far enough back in the woods to be away from everything. These are normally what I would bring with me on those types of trips. So there you go. You guys asked for it. Here they are. These are my luxury items that I bring with me when I'm camping. A little behind the scenes actions for you. And as always, with these tips and tricks videos, if there's something you want to see, if there's something you want me to do, you want me to explain, drop it down in the comments below and I'll get to it at some point. And apart from that, yeah, if you like it, give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you on the next one. Take it easy.